Hi y'all, welcome back. Today I'm going to do a little resin pour because I need some, we're going to make some resin crystals because I need those for the next project I want to do. But first, you want to make sure that the area that you have to work with is level. Now this is a leveling board. It's got these little feet on the bottom, see? And they screw in and out to raise and lower the corners. It's got a level on two sides, see? So that you can see that it's level going in both directions, horizontal and vertical. So what I'm gonna do, let's see if I can, get you over here so you can see the actual, whoops. There you go. All right, you see that? It's not level on this side. So I'm going to lower this one corner. Until I get the bubble in between the lines. Okay. And I lowered it as much as I can on that corner and it's not quite right, so I'm going to have to raise this other corner. The one going over here. So I'm just turning the leg. There you go, the bubble's in the middle. Now I'm going to look over at this bubble. And you notice it's closer to this line than it is to this line. It's not right in the center. So we're going to do the same thing. Actually, there it is. Okay. Now let's see if I can get my camera hooked back up so that you can see the workspace. There you go. You want to be able to see. I'll try to keep it here. Now that I've got a level workspace, I actually use these lunch trays I bought on Amazon. That way I can move my project out of the way when I'm done with it and move in another one to work. So I have my gloves because I'm going to be working with resin. The windows are open and the fans are going, so, and I'm using Clear Cast 7050, which virtually has no odor, fumes. So as long as I've got I've got the screen door open and I got the windows open over here. So, and then I have my silicone mixing cups. Okay. And I've picked out the colors I'm going to work with. I've got some mica powder here. I'm going to be doing pinks and whites and lots of glitter because this is for my foster daughter. What I'm going to use the crystals on, and this is a nice big chunky glitter. I have no idea where I got it. Probably came in a kit. I try to mark them when I know where I got them. All right, the ClearCast 7050 is a 2-to-1 mix ratio. That's why one bottle is smaller than the other. The hardener is smaller. So, oops. So I'm going to figure out how much I need here. Let's go with, I'm going to go with 6 ounces. See if you can see. I have to stand up to see if you can see. I don't know if this is reading here because it's clear. And as you see, you know, the marks on these cups, they're not inked. So it's very easy to not see what you're doing when you measure. So what I do is I figure out how much I'm going to need of each thing. And I use a fine point Sharpie and I mark it on my cup. That way I can see when I get to the part that I need. Since this is a 2-to-1 ratio, I've chosen 6 because it's easily divided by 3. And then I need 2 ounces of the hardener and another 4 ounces of the epoxy. Now this stuff, it just comes right off with some alcohol, so you can just wipe that off when you're done with it, and it'll be ready to mark for the next time around. Now I do find that it's easier, and I'm going to see if I can zoom this in so you can see, to see the marks through the cup when you're pouring, so that you can see how this is rising in the cup, rather than trying to get down sideways and see if it's leveling in. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to turn the cup around so that I can see right now, but put my gloves on, take my rings off because they rip the gloves up. Okay. Now these gloves are real bad in the warm weather. Your hands get sticky when you go to put them on. When that happens, I keep a little tub of baby powder and I just blow open the glove, pour a little dump just a little bit of baby powder in it and squish it around, and then my hands just slide right in. And by doing it that way, blowing open the glove and then putting the baby powder in the blown glove, you don't end up dumping baby powder all over the place and then contaminating your workspace. All right, so I'm going to remember the hardener. You only need the 2. I only need the 2 ounces of the hardener for what I'm doing. And I went just a little too far over because I was trying to do it backwards so you could see. So since I haven't put anything else in this yet, I can just pour that right back in the bottle. See if I can get it to where I need it. A little bit more back in the bottle. You want to get it as close to perfect as possible so that your mix will be right, so that it will. Now, I always keep baby wipes, and after I have poured out of my bottle, I wipe the outside here so that when I put my lid on, it doesn't get sticky and harden on it and make it really hard to get off next time. All right, then I'm going to pour my epoxy in. Should have a popsicle stick over here, and I haven't done that yet. Now it's making a lot of bubbles right now because I'm pouring from pretty high up. Don't need much more. Okay, that should be enough. Again, take my baby wipe wipe all this off so that it's not going to harden and basically glue my cap onto my bottle. Okay, so the next thing is to stir. Okay, so now see if you can see this, and you see there's all these little striations down here where the two chemicals have started to mix. It's not clear at all, and that's what we're shooting for, is to make it clear. So we're going to stir it. You don't want to stir too fast, because you're just going to introduce more bubbles. I don't know if you can see the striations on this popsicle stick. So you're going to stir slowly. You want to make sure that you scrape the sides of your cup. Scrape the bottom of your cup, especially down there around those where the side joins the bottom, to get anything that's just settled in there. And scrape your popsicle stick, or whatever it is you're using to mix, and then get that back down in there by scraping the sides of the cup. Because anything that you have not mixed can cause your resin not to cure properly. And we certainly don't want that. I'm probably stirring a little faster than I need to, just because I'm watching the time on the video. There you go. I don't know if you can hear that. My husband is out there. We just had some trees and stuff taken down, and they mulched up all of the limbs and everything for us, and he and the kids are out spreading the mulch over an area that we're prepping so that in the spring we can plant some nice things there. We want to cover it with mulch to keep the weeds from coming back up. He's got that tractor. It gets pretty loud. But I've got the windows open because I'm working with resin, so always work in a well-ventilated area. Okay, go around and around. Okay, it's starting to get clearer. There's still bubbles, but we're going to see what we can do about the bubbles once we put it in the smaller pots to mix our colors. Again, I'm scraping the sides, scraping scraping the popsicle stick, scraping the sides, scraping the bottom, scraping the corners. And it looks like it's pretty mixed. I see bubbles, but I don't see striations. So, now this will cure up faster sitting in a big pot like this. So you want to divide it up into your smaller amounts. Okay. That's going to be one for some, there's one for some glitter, one for the pink, one for the white, and then we have the clear, which now it's not so full. Okay, so I'm going to pull this back some so you can see what I'm doing. All right, let's see, let's get our molds out. And I keep these in plastic bags. I've got a little bit of resin I spilled here, might as well get that up. Okay, I've cut freezer paper and put it on the tray, and it'll protect the tray, plus any resin that spills, I can just let that cure and I can seal that up and use that in later projects. Okay, so before I store these, I spray them with mold release. It keeps them moist. I store them in plastic bags, protects them from the dust. But before I'm going to use it, I'm going to put some more mold release. Just a silicone spray you can buy right off of Amazon or in a craft store. Okay. All right, so I'm going to mix up. I got 6 of these. I don't know that I'm going to need all 6. Of the crystals, but I am going to use some. Okay, I'm going to put a nice amount of that pink in there. It's a really fine pink glitter. Okay. It came in a kit with something else, so I don't even know that it's a name brand. This extra fine crystal diamond glitter I got at Walmart. Let's see. I'm going to use some of that. That's just it's a clear holographic. So it's just going to, it's really fine, so it's just going to pick up. And then I've got this nice chunky pink holographic glitter. I have no idea where that came from, but I have it, so we're going to use it. Okay, because I really think that she would like this. It's got this kind of cotton candy color to it. But being holographic, it's gonna, there we go. I need to put this into a jar. It's in a plastic bag, and I just haven't put it into a jar yet. Then I've got some of this. It's got kind of a, it's kind of a purple, extra fine holographic. I'm going to put that in to add a little bit more glitter to it. So this is going to be a big glittery mess, this particular color, this particular resin. Stirring it up. Okay. Now this one is just going to be this pink mica powder. It's called Sparkling Fuchsia. I believe that the brand name is Dog Hobble. I got it off of Amazon. This one, I haven't even taken the foil out of this one. Because I haven't used this color yet. So I'm just going to put a little bit of that in there. Get a little more. It's a bright color. By using very little, I think we'll be able to keep it pretty translucent. I think that might be a little too translucent. I think I want a little bit more in there of that. Okay, and we stir that in. Now the thing about these crystal molds is they've got a lot of little crevices, nooks and crannies, so you're going to want to do a lot of manipulation of the mold to try to get bubbles released so they can come to the top so that you can pop them. Okay. Now I have, whoops, this is Pearl-Ex. It's called Violet Polaris. It's a really nice pearl white. It's just got kind of violet undertones to it. I probably got 10 different pearl whites. Anyway, I'm going to put a popsicle stick. Just take a popsicle stick and get a little bit on it. Okay, and dump that into this one here. Okay. As you can see, my popsicle sticks are a mess because I reuse them. I wipe them off and I reuse them, and I wipe them off and I reuse them. Oh yeah, I don't know if you can see, but when you start mixing that in, the little violet undertones start to show. So I want to get it mixed up really nice. It's very pearly, pearlescent. So I'll give it a really nice sheen to the areas where we pour this. Then I'm going to take some of the clear and I'm just going to put in this no color holographic glitter. It's a really fine glitter, so hopefully it won't all sink. There'll be a little bit of suspension in there. All right, so here's what we got. Now, as I mentioned, glitter tends to sink. So all right, I'm going to start with some of this pearl color. And let's see, can you see what we're doing here? Okay. And I'm going to pour just a little bit of it and try to get it down into some of the points down in there. And that's one. Let's see, I've got a little point, yeah, over there. Okay. And then, like I said, you're going to want to manipulate this a lot to try to get the bubbles up to the surface. Okay. And then I have another one here. So we're going to see how these all come out. Okay, same thing. This one's kind of a skinnier, taller crystal. The first time I'm using these molds, I got them and I just hadn't had a chance to use them yet. So we're gonna see how they come out together. Oh yeah, see, I'm seeing some bubbles coming up. Now before I put another layer in, we're gonna see if we can't pop some bubbles. Just wanna get a little bit of this into all of the different crystals. We want these crystals to look like they were all mined in the same cave. And created with the same minerals. Okay. Get a little one here. This will be a little short, fat one over here. Okay. And then this one, another one of the smaller crystal clusters. Okay, let's see. All right, so what I want to do here is keep manipulating these, kind of try to loosen the bubbles. Okay. And then I'm going to get some, I don't want to torch it because to get in there you'd have to really get into the silicone of the mold, and I certainly don't want to do that because that's just going to melt my mold and ruin it. So I'm spritzing a little alcohol in there to pop the bubbles that have come to the surface. Okay. Now let's see. I'm going to put a little bit of this glittery stuff in. This one looks like it's almost full just from the one little bit I put in before, so I want to get some of the glitter in there so it'll sink. Yeah, see, that one's just going to be full just from that. Now, this will be a much lighter version because it won't have the pink in it. Okay, on this one, pour a little bit of the pink. Just to get some of the color in it. These are going to be a very pale pink. Don't want a lot because I want to leave room for all of that wonderful glitter. You want to have a chance for all of this. Let's see. Check the screen. I sat down. Yeah, you can see, can't you? Let me pull that screen back, just pull the view back just a little bit so you can see a little bit better what we're doing. Okay, and then I'll put some in here. Remember, this is just the mica powder, no glitter. Okay. And I'm going to put some of the pink glitter in. Now it looks like I'm going to have some extra of some of these resins, which I always tend to mix up more than I need. Stir this up so I can get some of that holographic stuff back in here. Okay. So I have pulled out an extra mold over here that I can toss these into and not waste my resin. Get some more glitter. We want these to be nice and shiny. Okay, and again, we're gonna just, I see some bubbles here that have come to the top, so let's get them spritzed before. And there, we're hoping to get some more bubbles coming to the top of this one that's finished. And then glitter tends to sink into the resin, which is a good thing because that'll put it towards the top of the crystals. I don't know if there's going to be enough extra resin to do this other mold. Okay. Yeah, there will be, because I haven't even gotten into that other cup. Okay. And this one's taller and bigger, so I can definitely utilize some of that. Now, resin is going to find its level. It self-levels to the surface that it's sitting on. So that's why we wanted to use the leveling board. Okay. But I want to make sure. Okay, I definitely have some bubbles here to pop. That didn't pop, did it? Okay. I need some more in here. Okay. Now, I want to make sure that I get as much of the bubbles out as possible. I don't mind the bubbles being caught up here, but I'd rather not have them caught down in the points where they'll cause these little like shards. They'll cause a hole. I don't even mind them being caught in the center of all this stuff. Just don't want them in the crystal points. Okay. All right, so we have pink. Now, once these are cured, I'm going to be doing 2 more sets of these. Just FYI. All right. I'm going to move these, shift these up here so that there's some room, and I'll get out this other mold and we'll just use up the rest of this resin. Here it is. Okay, so this is actually silicone does stick to the plastic sometimes, and it's hard to get it out of the bags, but okay, so this is a heart mold. It's got these shapes, these facets to it. It's like a faceted heart mold. All right, and once again, before I do it, I'm probably only going to be able to fill one of these, but that's okay. The silicone spray certainly won't hurt it. I use that to store it anyway. All right, so I'm just going to take all of the rest of my resin and dump it into one of these hearts. See what it comes out looking like, and maybe I'll include that in the package I'm sending her. Or maybe I'll save it as an embellishment for some other package I send her later. You never know. Scraping out as much resin as I can. Using my little popsicle stick. These craft sticks, you can buy them really inexpensively in like huge boxes. And then if you reuse them, wiping them down when you're done with them and reuse them, I'll set these aside. Get them off my workspace. Okay, now remember this one was just the glitter. Just the clear holographic glitter. Well, this will certainly be sparkly if nothing else. Oh yeah. One of these hearts will be just perfect to use up all the rest of this resin that I mixed, so that'll be just about right. Still recording, good. Okay. And then top it off with the translucent pink that was mixed with the mica. Okay. Now you want to have everything handy before you start a resin project. For those of you who haven't done it before, make your list, double check it, and get everything out, because your resin gives you a limited working time. And if you have to spend a lot of that time hunting around for something, you're going to end up with resin that cures too fast in the cup before you can use it. All right, I'm just going to give this a little swirl to try to make sure that I don't have any little bubbles down in the bottom. Just with all these facets, it would be real easy for bubbles to hang on. And then the glitter added to that. Okay. Now this is a really thin mold, so when you start squeezing it and manipulating it, you want to be careful or you'll just squeeze all your resin right out of the mold. Okay, now I have over poured this just a little bit, so I won't have to sand the bottom of it. It looks like I've got a little bit of a spillage there on the side, but when that cures, that will be just fine. It'll be really easy to get off. Okay, now I have bubbles here, so I'm giving another squirt with the alcohol. And I want to double check my crystals here. Make sure that any bubbles that are coming to the surface I go ahead and get. And I have manipulated and poked and patted and anything else I can do to try to get the bubbles to come to this, to move away from the whatever they were, sides they were stuck on. So let's hope that that does that. Okay. If the bubbles are down into the center of your piece and you're using a lot of glitter, it'll just look kind of like the sparkle. But if they're down at the bottom of the mold, which would be the top of your piece, then when they pop, there won't be any resin there to make that wall, and you'll end up with a jagged hole on the edge. Okay, so we're gonna let these cure. I will cover them to keep any dust and stuff from falling on them, and we will come back tomorrow and demold them. Okay, so here we are, back to see what happened with the resin. I'm going to go ahead, because these are in my way, and start with the hearts. Excuse me if I sound like I'm chewing on something. I've got a little bit of a cough drop in my mouth still. Had a bit of a scratchy throat this morning. It's kind of rainy and wet here. Okay, so here's the first one. And this is the one I think that you guys saw me pour. I poured a second one off camera because I discovered some more resin in the big cup that I had forgotten about. So I just mixed some pink with it. Let's see. Make sure that I'm getting that up in the... Oh yeah, the girls are gonna love these. Okay. And then we have, see, there's a little piece there. It just breaks right off where I over poured. See that pretty crystal points? Looks kind of like rose quartz with a little glitter in it, doesn't it? These would be really nice for the project that I'm going to be working on. Oh, this one came out really nice. I will put a link in the description of where I got the molds, where I got the mica powder. The glitters, I really don't know where I got all of them because I end up with little bits of glitter from all over the place. So if you can see the darker right there at the tips. These molds are really, feel like really good quality molds. They're nice and thick. You know, so many times you get molds in and they've got such thin little walls that they get bent out of shape easily. These don't. Aren't these pretty? Okay, so this is what we ended up with from our resin pour. Tune in again and you'll get to see what we're going to do with these. And why I poured them to begin with. Bye now.